So, I'm Draco Self Important, and I think you should listen to me. In my last series of uploads that uploaded in the wrong order, I don't even know, man. Figure it out. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I should have like uploaded it, wait for it to go, whatever. Um, I briefly mentioned my mother. Wasn't really planning to go in depth on that particular topic yet, but she's dead now. So it's brought up a lot of shit. Probably a decade ago, at least 9 years ago. I can't remember if it was 2014 or 15. Um, it was springtime, though, regardless. She had a heart attack. And my family, specifically my uh, aunt's ex husband, who was still married to her at the time, um, gave me a lot of shit because I was like, hey, I posted on my Facebook. That's the I was like is referring to. I posted on my Facebook because I was on the other side of the country and my family's in Pennsylvania and yeah, that my mother had had a heart attack and that no one is surprised because she wasn't exactly a health nut. My mother, most of my childhood, was 5'7" and about 350 pounds. She drank full sugar Pepsi rather than water. I like or sweet tea or but mostly her beverage of choice was full sugar, full caffeine Pepsi. She Yeah, she is why I'm as fucked up as I am about eating, because when I was a teenager and I started to gain weight because I was going out to Olive Garden and fucking Dairy Queen every other night, instead of being like, hey bro, maybe don't do that, she was like, hey, let me get you these over the counter herbal diet pill Herbalife shit. And give you, it was the 90s, it was straight fucking ephedrine. She basically handed me herbal meth and was like, here you go, sweetie, bye bye. Go, don't be fat about it. I assure you, I gained more weight after that, and then more, and then more, and my eating has been fucked up. And it's like, I get that, like, all of her eating disordered shit came because my fucking grandfather berated her about it. Hey, you know what doesn't make people less fat? Calling them fat. I mean, at this point in my existence, call me fat. I don't care. Fat is a descriptor like thin or tall or short or anything the fuck else. Fat shouldn't be a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with being fat. And if anybody thinks that there is, they can fuck the fuck off. And if you're concerned about my health because I'm fat, let me list off the other list of things that threaten my life every fucking day because my brain tries to kill me. Trust me, the chocolate bar keeps me the fuck alive. Shut the fuck up. End. Um, I have had to come to a point in my existence after many, many years, decades, in fact, of disordered eating to finally just be like, if I eat when I'm hungry and eat what I want to eat, I tend to balance out. The second I try to be like, oh my God, I'm too fat, I'm too whatever, whatever, then I end up eating weird shit because it's like I will eat like nothing or I'll try to do some weird diet shit. And then inevitably that breaks because I can't fucking handle that kind of like restriction in that particular area of my existence. And so then I end up eating like 47 fucking Twix bars or some shit. Like, I've had every goddamn eating disorder fucking symptom ever. My official diagnosis is EDNOS, eating disorder not otherwise specified, because I have overexercised, I have overate, I have binged, I have underate, I have completely fasted and starved myself, I have puked, I have used diet pills, I have used laxatives, I have done all the things, and it was all fucking horrible. And had someone just told me, someone being my fucking family, that, like, it didn't fucking matter, and if I took care of myself and exercised and didn't eat nothing but trash my entire fucking life, that I'd probably be okay. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, But most people who have access to processed food are fucking fat. I don't know what to tell you, man. The government feeds us this shit. There's nothing I like. I do not have the money to maintain the kind of diet that is not going to fill me with processed corn. And like, I researched the fucking corn shit, man. Omnivore's Dilemma is a fantastic book that I read like a bajillion years ago, but like, ooh, doggy. Um, everything in American food has corn in it. It's everything's got corn syrup of some form or another. It's got maltodextrin, which is usually made from corn. It's like it's all just corn because all they do is subsidize corn and soy. And soy is fine as far as I know. Like I'm sure if you process the shit out of anything, it's not great. But like, there's fucking protein in soy. All they do to corn is make it into either sugar or undigestible filler. Because that's all corn is. Like, if you eat corn, the reason you poop out corn is because most of it is fucking cellulose. You can't digest that shit. I think it's cellulose. It's fucking insoluble fiber. It is, and that's why, like, to make tortillas, there's a whole ass process, and I think there's like lye involved. Legit, like, I have like half a recollection from watching cooking shows. I am not an expert on tortilla making by any stretch. I like to eat them, don't really know how to make them other than you crush some corn and extra steps. um but like, so like, expecting me to be able to like eat a diet that doesn't result in me being overweight in this climate with the amount of money that I have is ridiculous. And once I came to that conclusion and realized that as long as I wasn't eating in a way to like abuse my own body, I was chill. I can't say that there are never times that I binge these days, but like it's pretty rare. Cause like I don't know, man. But digression, digression, digression. She did not take care of herself, and as a middle aged adult who was damn near as old as she was when I had my first kid, because, yeah, she was 45, 46. Wait, what year? She was 46. I'm 41 when I had my oldest. Um, yeah, she's 62 years old and died the other day. I mean, type 2 diabetes, ended up with kidney failure, congestive heart failure, and then her liver started to go as well. And all of the recommendations for how to take care of those things conflicted. When she had the kidney and the heart, that was like, because everything about the kidney says drink, 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 and everything about the heart says, please God, don't ingest any more fluids. You're going to fucking collapse your heart. So there's really no, like, there's no way around that. And like, the worse she got, the less she seemed to give a shit about what anybody else thought. And like, I don't really give a shit about what anybody else thinks, like in the grand scheme of things. Like, I'm a real fuck you kind of guy, but like, we're talking like her grandkids. And like, I do not believe at the time that she was saying these things there was any issue of like dementia or any like cognition issues related to her physical health, as far as I am aware. And if there was, the rest of my family was in much closer contact with her than I was because they were routinely coming to visit. My aunt specifically was managing all of her medical shit. Like, they knew what was happening. And I'm not going to go into the story of the fucking horrifying betrayal just yet. Um, you could take my word for it or not on this particular instance, but kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, she did some shit that I found to be unforgivable. Um, And when I finally got her on the phone a month after this fucking horrifying thing, because everyone hid it from me, uh, she was like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I went, yeah, you fucking should be. And then my aunt text messages me within probably fucking 20 minutes, an hour maybe. It was real fucking quick. You never cease to surprise me. That was the text message. So, like, are you mad because she doesn't know what's going on and nobody bothered to tell me? Or are you mad because I called someone out on some shit that she knew goddamn well what she was doing and did it anyway and didn't bother to communicate with me about it so we could avoid it? Because one way or the other, you're the asshole. Because if you knew that she was all kinds of fucked up and making decisions, I'll just, and making decisions about my child, and you didn't bother to consult me or tell me that she wasn't capable. If she wasn't, that's not my fucking problem. Well, it is my fucking problem. Actually, it is absolutely my fucking problem, but it should not have been because you should have told me. Because clearly, if you can text message me to fucking insult me, then you can text message me to tell me that I have things to be concerned about regarding my fucking child. But no, 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 no. These people didn't care about any of that. Not at all. Because I am not worthwhile to them. I was the precious little princess my whole fucking existence, right? I'm the precious little baby. I'm everyone's priority. Everything's great. I have kids. Everything's amazing. Everybody wants to pay attention to my kids. Blah, 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 blah. I come out gone. You fucking tell me, man. Now, granted, I cut ties with my aunt other than when she came here to visit my mother because I'm not going to be an asshole in person when my kids are around. Like, whatever. Because many years ago, she sent me some fucking stupid fucking meme and was like, "What are you people gonna attack now?" Because she had gone all fucking QAnon Trumpist fucking bullshit. Mind you, my grandmother was like incredibly influential in the steel union in the 60s in Pittsburgh. P.S. The city of steel. That's why the Steelers are there. Like, it's kind of a big deal. Uh, and she was involved in the Steelworkers Union like my entire childhood, a huge portion of my adult life. I went to so many. I shook Bill Clinton's hand because she helped to organize the campaign rally in Pittsburgh right before the election when Bill Clinton got elected. Like, I shook his hand. I was in the fifth grade. I had people around me going, "This is the last time he'll be here when he's governor." And then they were right. Right? So, like, this is someone like she has a picture on her mantle of her and Bill Clinton. Like, this is, like, she's not famous by any stretch of anyone's imagination. Sweet Jesus, no. But like, she worked her entire life to do these things that are like, I don't know, good. I love unions. I love workers' rights. She was I don't know if she still is because she doesn't fucking talk to me anymore. But as far the last I heard, she was still the fucking treasurer of her local credit union. I love credit unions. I think they're way better than banks. Like, I can. So, like, it's not as if we're talking about people who were like morally bankrupt from the jump. When I was a kid, I had a great relationship with my aunt. Um, yeah, even as like a young adult, I remember calling her. Like, I remember when I married my second husband. OPS, just to clarify, beep, and I may do this again. First husband was the one that I told the stories about last time, the dude who banged me when I was 15. Second husband, other father, because I am the father, of my oldest two. And then there's my wife, ex wife, who was the third spouse and mother of my youngest. Um, I pooped out all three of them, just so we're clear. I like to refer to babies as pooping them out because you cannot tell me that it is not the same set of muscles, and you cannot tell me that people don't poop all the fucking time while giving birth. Not every time, not every time, but sometimes. Because I've given birth more than once, and as far as I know, I only pooped the one time. Brief aside, I remember I was there for with my friend at the birth of her first, and like I don't even know how long later. I think years later, because I think she had had multiple kids at this point. She was like, "I didn't poop when he was born," and I was like, "Yeah, you did. The doctor just wiped it and moved on with his life because telling you you pooped was not helpful to the situation." Like, but yes, I, with my eyeballs, watch poop come out of your butt. Sorry, friend. Like that's it's the price of admission, I guess, when you're gonna hold a leg for someone giving birth. Ah, hospital births where they have people on either side holding your legs up. I don't know why the fuck they think that's a position. Like, they're replicating squatting laying down. Just let the bitch squat. Gravity is fun. Like, my last one, I pooped out in a big bathtub in a birth house with a midwife. I did not go the hospital route. I did not go the home birth route because my home is not tidy enough to give birth to a human and have to have medical care. But, like, there are places that are with medical professionals who are there to help you, just not in the place with all the sick people. Like, that's the issue with the hospitals. That's where all the sick people go. There's, like, lots of germs there and shit. Like, do you really want to take your immunocompromised brand new human being into Germtown if you don't have to? Because, like, there are definitely occasions that you need to fucking go to the hospital for babies, right? Like, you need to. Like, I'm not the guy to tell you to all home. No. There are occasions that and I'm not even going to try to, like, go into, in this case, I know that's not my deal. You know, get a reputable licensed professional to help you. I'm a fan of a midwife. In most places, if you get a certified nurse midwife, you get someone with medical training who is also overseen by an OBGYN. Don't get a lay midwife. Those are just ladies who know a lot about birth. I assume ladies. I'm sure there are other genders there as well, but generally, that's not a medical professional. That's not what you want. You want someone who, if shit goes wrong, has some actual licensed, documented, peer reviewed medical training, man. Like, whoo. Um, licensure. You want licensure. You want people to have passed tests on what to do when shit goes south. Um, yeah, even the births I had in hospital were with midwives. Because there was a midwifery practice that closed between my second and third kids, and so that's how I ended up doing the whole like home birth at the other place, birth house situation. I don't think that place exists anymore, which is a bummer. It was so fucking cool. Um, so anyway, just be aware that if I'm gonna cut this off around 30 minutes because the phone that I'm recording this on um, doesn't record more than like 33-ish and change, and I don't want it to cut off in a weird place like the first video that I tried to make, so I'm going to cut it on my own time if I go over. So if there is a part two, that's why. Um, yeah. So, like, when I first moved here, um, when I was 21, my mother used to call me constantly. Like, if I didn't answer the phone, she would call, 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 leave a million voicemails, to the point that I had to be like, hello, I'm an adult, and I'm allowed to be unavailable to you. The fact that I have a cell phone does not mean that I am at your beck and call. I am across the country. There's absolutely nothing that you need that can't wait. And I had to have this conversation with her multiple times. Um, I promised her when I moved away that when I had kids, I would help her to move because she was on SSI since I was in high school. And so after we'll talk about my getting married to the second husband at a later date. We're gonna we're gonna bounce. I told you we were gonna bounce back and forth. Um, when I got pregnant with my oldest, I started researching how to get her benefits transferred and shit so that I could get her moved out to where I am because I am an only child and she wanted to be near her grandchildren and I wanted them to have a relationship with their grandmother. Um, so I did all the research and we did all the fucking shit and got the cats shipped and it was a whole kerfuffle. Um, she had to live with me for a month in this process, and it was a goddamn nightmare. Um, she was the worst parts of me. She embodied all of the parts of me that I hate about myself, but never tried to make them better. And anytime you would call her on her shit, would just act like you were insulting her as a human. Like, and I definitely, there are times in my life when I would do that. Like, there people would be like, "Why the fuck are you such a contrarian?" And I'd be like, seriously hurt because I'm like, well, that's like my fucking personality, man. So like, maybe being an asshole was who she was, and but like, I didn't like it. Um, um, but things were not super horrible. She did not like the second husband, although in retrospect, I shouldn't have liked the second husband, so like that's not a fault against her. Um, but it definitely made things more difficult at the time. Uh, and so after a month, I got her set up in her own apartment, and she moves out. And then one day, we come home and find there is my mother sitting on the couch watching television in our fucking living room. You don't live here anymore, lady. Like, what? Oh, I recorded something on your DVR, so I came over to watch it. You couldn't have asked, told us? Like, fucking call and leave me a voicemail if I don't answer. Like, something. Some kind of a monicum of fucking courtesy to say, I'm going to use the key that you've entrusted me with because you're going to have a child, and I specifically came to the other side of the country to help you care for this child. I'm going to take that key, and I'm going to use that key before this child actually exists. And I'm going to watch, like, Maury or some shit on your fucking DVR with no announcement. And I mean, if you're the kind of person who, like, you're cool with that, awesome, good for you. I'm not. She fucking knew that. And so then when I was like, what the hell? This is not okay. You need to ask before you come to my home. You cannot just let yourself into my home like it's yours. I understand that you think that that's cool, but I do not. And her response was to throw a big baby fit and give me the key back. I didn't ask for the key back in this particular case, to be clear. There are cases down the line that I did, or at least a case. I don't fucking know. There's so many times that I have cut off contact with her in the past like 20 years that I cannot fucking remember them all. I just can't. Because it's like every couple of years, like basically what would happen, it was the abuse cycle, man. It's the honeymoon, and then the blah, 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 like look at the fuck up, there's a cycle, right? So basically she would do all the things that I wanted, and she would even be like, I'm saying all the things that you want, and I'm doing all the things that you want, and you just won't. And anytime I would call her on anything that she did that was incredibly disrespectful, I was yelling at her. I was There is nothing more than that I wish in this moment than when my kids were very young, the first two, when I was divorcing or attempting to divorce the second husband for the first time because we split up and then tried to get back together because I'm an idiot. He is too, but I'm gonna take my own I'm an idiot on this one. But the first time we separated, she fucked me over um, because, like, we had a disagreement, and her response to this was to walk out of the house when she was supposed to be taking care of my kids. And I then couldn't go to work, had to take time off, had to do this whole song and dance that, like, really fucked me over in family court as far as, like, my position in custody. Like, I still had the same amount of time with. I didn't lose custody of the kids. I still had the kids all the fucking time. But on paper, someone in this state has to be the custodial parent. And because of the situation that she put me in, where I could not provide them daycare because I did not have enough money, and she was no longer providing it, and she had agreed to before I did all this. Now, thing to note, my entire fucking life, she babysat people's kids. She watched my aunt's kids, their whole fucking childhood. She watched her friends' kids, 2 kids at a time, young babies to toddlers. Exactly what I was asking her to do. And she was 5 years older than me. Wait, no, 6, 7, I don't know. She was under 50. She was not a woman. She was not at this point, like, her health was not bad. There was absolutely no reason that she could not have done this other than I pissed her off and fuck me. And it's like, man, like, my kids have pissed me off. I can't even tell you. But, like, they're my kids. And I assume when my kids are adults, I'm still going to be like, yeah, but they're my kids and I understand this is a stressful time. Like, I can't tell you how many times my middle kid has just fucking unloaded on me. And I'm like, I know this shit isn't about me. But she was never an emotionally intelligent or mature woman. She was an emotional child. Like, just point blank, dealing with her my entire life was the equivalent of dealing with my middle schooler. And she never got any better and never fucking cared to. And if you tried to call her on the shit, it was your fucking problem. And it's like, I've got my oldest kid who very recently was trying to get me to, like, make up with her because we knew this was coming. And I'm like, listen, man, I'm glad you've got a good relationship with her. I am thankful for that. I am happy that you have something positive in your life. But that has no bearing on my relationship with my abuser. The way that that woman treated me as a child and used me as a prop and just fucking, oh my God. Like, I talked about probably being autistic, right? I seem incredibly articulate for, as far as, like, I don't know if articulate is the word. I deal better in social situations than I think your average autistic person with otherwise similar function does. And I think that's because if I didn't learn to read my mother's mood at any given moment, my life was a fucking living hell because she would go nuts. I mean, She didn't beat me as much as my father did. She never busted out with a 2x4. Yes, that's a real story. That's really something that my father did. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and tell that one now. I was in junior high school, so like, I don't know, 12, 13. I got a deficiency report, which is like halfway through the 9 week period or quarter or whatever the fuck, halfway through the term of school, they send out things that are like, hey, your kid's not doing great. You should probably do something to help them out. Basically, if you were getting a D or lower, a D was still passing at this point where in the school that I was in. So I wasn't even failing. I just got a hey, your kid needs help notice. And that notice happened to come to my mother while I was visiting my father. She called my father and told him, and his response was to take me to the garage so that my stepmother couldn't see, because previously, when he tried to beat me in front of her, she'd stopped him. And he made me bend over a wooden dining chair and proceeded to beat my ass with a 2x4 like he was swinging for the fucking fences. I did not tell my mother because I assumed I would just get in more trouble, or like, she did not give me a safe place to go to feel like that was a thing that I could tell her. I don't know, man. Had remorse for the things that I dealt with him, but I don't think ever really understood what she did to me or cared to, really. Because like the last interaction that I had with her was months ago, probably September or October. I think October. Um, well, the last interaction I had with her before yelling at her and never speaking to her again. The last like civil interaction I had. Um, my oldest had asked me if I wanted to go visit with them, and I was like, yeah, yeah. And then I like put it off and was all weird about it. And then I messaged my mother and I was like, I'm afraid to come and visit you because every time I come and see you, you say some shit that makes me feel awful and like you insult my kid and like it just really like I am afraid to feel like that. And the only thing she sent back was passive aggressive, period. Because you can't talk about your feelings. Everything's either happy and sunshine and everything's great, or you have to scream at each other. That's apparently all that's acceptable. I didn't feel like screaming at her was going to do me any fucking good at that point. I also didn't know that she had been fucking lying to me and hiding shit from me, so probably screaming at her at that point would have been great. I feel bad for the kid that's got a close relationship with her. That's it. I feel bad for no, no one else in this situation. My fucking grandmother, I sent her a long ass message begging for someone to be on my fucking side because she was someone who previously in my life was. Nope. Fuck it. She was the only person alive still who I thought like had